Ryan Neiman, Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, today's newsmakers, and you. The Morning Majority, 630.
It is 7:37, and tonight out at FedEx Field, the mighty Redskins go up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in preseason game number 4. Trevor Matich is on the line right now to talk about this game and the important things we should be thinking about. Trevor, Kyle Shanahan has said that both of these quarterbacks, Grossman and Beck, that they're pretty neck and neck. So this, it would seem, this game would be sort of the important rubber match between the two.
Yeah, I think it's an important rubber match, Brian, but also I think even more than that, it's to cement what the coaches already suspect. If it really came down to the performance in one preseason game, and that's how you select a starter for an NFL season, then the Redskins would be in a whole lot more trouble than a lot of people think they're in. So really, I think they have an idea of what they want, and if it's confirmed in this game, they'll keep with it. Now,
and what do you think? That's Beck, right?
Yeah, I think that's Beck, and this is something that we've talked about. Different people disagree with my impression of this, but my thought is that you've got two guys with completely different experience levels. Grossman with starting experience and Super Bowl experience. Beck, who has not thrown a regular season pass since 2007. And if they're neck and neck, then I would think you've got to go with Beck. Because as he gains experience, you would think that he would improve faster than Grossman, who already has the experience.
Trevor, in your professional opinion, how does the president do against an NFL matchup when he gives his speech next Thursday?
Oh, boy.
Which do you pick?
Well, I'll tell you, this is an interesting, I think, commentary on our society, right? That right now we're in a world with peril everywhere. We're in a domestic situation that has a lot of question marks and turmoil, and it may be that more people will tune into the entertainment than to the solutions. So I think that's an interesting commentary, although I will suggest
that assumes that there are going to be solutions offered, Trevor, but I won't drag you into that discussion.
I'll leave that to you. But one of the great things about football, and the Redskins especially, is that no matter what your feelings about what those solutions to our world and country problems should be, for 3 hours on a Sunday afternoon, we can get together as brothers and root for the Redskins against those dastardly, evil, horrible, awful, bad Cowboys.
Exactly.
Right? And so, or in this case, Giants coming up with the season opener. And so, at least that's something I think that's a positive thing.
Dante Stallworth, is he going to make this team?
I don't know. I think a lot of it depends on special teams. But if I'm the Redskins, I stick with my plan. And my plan is build a team from the ground up with young guys and the veterans that we need in order to teach those young guys. And right now, the veterans at receiver are Gaffney and Moss. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you've got Armstrong, who is the third guy, young guy, second-year guy. And then I don't know that you put veterans behind that. If you've got rookies that you think you can develop, guys that will play special teams, but especially guys that 5 years from now could come into their prime as really solid NFL receivers, then I don't see why you would keep a veteran that 5 years from now will be on the couch watching games with us.
You have to keep Brandon Banks, right? Even though with the kickoff returns being put back to the 35-yard line, we're going to see a lot of touchbacks, but you have to keep Brandon Banks on this team because he's a playmaker.
Yeah, I think they will keep Brandon Banks, again, because of that same situation. He's a young guy who is a playmaker now, but who could develop down the road into, especially on special teams, a fantastic playmaker. And what helps Brandon Banks is Devin Hester, Chicago's returner. When you look at them going to the Super Bowl, a lot of it was not the offense scoring points by driving the field. It was Devin Hester returning kickoffs and punts to give them great field position and short fields to score. And that helped make Grossman look good. And if Banks can develop into that guy, then I think you've got to give him a chance to develop. And so even if he's gimpy, even if he doesn't really play his full ability this season, it's a long-term plan.
What about Ryan Terrain? I mean, he's been out with a broken hand, I guess it was, and now he's coming back. What is the hope for him?
The hope for Terrain is that he can come in and do what he did last year, but be consistent. See, the thing about Terrain is that I think he would be there, not necessarily neck and neck with Hightower. I think Tim Hightower has won the starting tailback job, no matter what Terrain does. But at the same time, tailback is such a critical position in this system because you not only have to be able to run the ball, but you've got to be reliable in blitz pickup and pass protection. And Terrain has shown that he can do that. And they can still keep a young developmental running back like a Roy Halou Jr. and keep Terrain. But if Terrain is a guy who can't be healthy, then I think you keep an Evan Royster and let Hightower be your lone veteran as long as those rookies can pick up blitzes. And they've shown progress in that. Now, what Terrain's job is, what his task is in this game tonight, will be to not only run really well, but also to come out of that game on his feet. So he walks off the field instead of being carried off the field. If he gets hurt tonight, then I don't see any way they would keep him on the roster over one of those rookies. So really there's a lot of pressure on him. He has to perform lights out, but he also has to stay healthy. So that would be a guy to watch in this game.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, they released Malcolm Kelly, and officially that draft of Malcolm Kelly and Devin Thomas, man, that was a disaster when you look at it. 2020 hindsight, obviously, but they got nothing out of that draft.
Yeah, they really did. Although Fred Davis.
Yeah, well, Fred Davis is, he's a backup tight end in the NFL.
Well, those are the three guys that were, tied, and they all forever will be because they were the 3 second-round picks. And at the time they made those picks, those guys, a lot of NFL staffs had them, rated highly enough to draft there, certainly. But the thing is, a lot of people also said that Malcolm Kelly was a guy who wouldn't put in the work for you.
Man.
And that turned out to be pretty much the case. Right. The injuries that he had were the kinds of injuries that are caused often because you either overdo your training in the off season or you underdo it. Well, I don't think he was overdoing anything.
All right, Trevor Matich.
Thank you, Trevor.
We'll talk to you tomorrow, Trev.
All right, you guys.